Welcome to Land Academy. This is the Cash Flow from Land show. We show you how to buy real estate for half of what it's worth
and sell it on the internet really fast.
I'm Jack Butala.
I'm Jill DeWit. We are Jack and Jill, and this is the Jack and Jill Show, too.
With over 15,000 completed transactions, we're the experts at acquiring property.
Of all kinds, not just land.
For half price and flipping them for way more.
All right, let's get this show started.
Jack Butala with Jill DeWit.
Hi.
Welcome to our show today. In this episode, Jill and I talk about creatively choosing counties in which to mail offers. Great show today, Jill.
Yeah.
Let's take a question posted by one of our members on successplant.com, our free online community.
Okay. Ron asks, I've run into this twice now, and in both cases it wasn't a deal, but I thought I'd ask about what I'm seeing. I'm looking on the county's website. I search for the APN, the assessor's parcel number, and when it comes up, they show more than one, in this case 3, in another case 5, like property listings for one assessor's parcel number, APN. In both cases, there were mobile homes on most, if not all, the listings, so perhaps there's a tie there. I did use 0 for the land value for land improvement, and I did some scrubbing out that were obvious homes, but this county must not pay attention to that field? Question mark. Can they?
What do you mean?
Sell?
A county didn't pay attention to something?
So I get it. So I think it's a couple different things here. It gets several properties for one APN, and one has something on it. So this. Go ahead, Jack. I know this. This can happen. It's okay.
There's a lot of things going on here, and it's not something. This is a great question, by the way. This is like a master's degree level question. There's lots of things that can be going on. The first and foremost seems like, I don't think there's any side of the mobile thing, by the way. Some counties treat mobile homes as a car where you're registered with the DMV. Some of them treat them as personal property that it's taxed. None of them treat that I know of. Treat them as real property, so they don't have assessor's parcels numbers. There's also the possibility that, and I see this in mobile home areas all the time, where it gets subdivided, but it only gets subdivided from a northeast quarter to a southeast quarter standpoint, and they get assigned new APNs, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, A, and B, and C, and D. So there's lots of stuff. Man, I wish I could answer this question for you, but I have like 9 questions, then I could probably answer it, but my gut says, I think the county maybe, if the number's exactly the same, the county made a mistake.
I have one follow-up thing to add. I pointed Ron to one of the properties listed for sale on our website and in our list, because I can show there's one property with one APN. Yeah. And if you read the legal description, it sounds like, this sounds like multiple properties, because it is.
Yeah.
So it really was a split up, and they're not even next to each other. It's one over here, and then the one next to it, and then the one across the street, and one over there.
Sure.
So that can happen. So I was pointing that out to Ron to say, you're not losing your mind.
I feel
that could happen.
I feel compelled to quote Jill. Like, if this is complicated, maybe just move on to the next deal. There's lots of deals. It
might be something really worth getting there. I guess I think I took it as, am I losing my mind? Is this right? And no, you're wrong. You're not losing your mind.
Okay.
And might it be worth buying it because it has multiple properties? Sure. Maybe, and even depending on the size of them, like the one that we have, that's, I don't know how many properties. If I really wanted to, I could go to the county and make it 3 separate parcels and sell them separately if I want to.
Well, I think
so. That's an idea if you want to.
I mean, that's subdividing, and I think Jill's oversimplifying, and I actually this is totally the appropriate time to do that. I mean, you can't just split property up without really telling anybody about it. You have to apply and things like that. But yeah, heck yes. I mean, and if that, and my experience has been, if that happens when there's a split like that, it's A, B, C, D, E at the end.
I have to say, this is kind of funny about me what does that say about us? Your approach and my approach, which is really, really good. That's why we're so good together. Your approach is you really do, Jack. That's you. You like to dig down deep and figure out the thing. I'm like, what do I need to know? Can I move on?
You know what else? We
Sometimes.
It's summertime, and we have to turn the air conditioning off and all that stuff. When you record a podcast, you have to try to get rid of as much background noise as possible. And both of us are wearing T-shirts, and both of the T-shirts are too small.
No,
Visualize that.
You don't think it's too small. You tell me you like this. Too
I don't hate
funny. I love it. Thank you.
Today's topic, creatively choosing counties to mail offers in. Why the heck, Jill, would we have to do a show like this? Because it seems so obvious. It's not obvious.
It's not.
It's our number one question right now.
What's a secret county? What's a secret county?
I think that's the crux of it right there is other people out there who call themselves, whatever they may call themselves, leaders, something. They say there's secret counties. There's no secret counties.
There's no secret county.
So we decided to do a show to very clearly explain how we choose counties and how to creatively throw a little bit of creative flair in it. And I'm going to give you a couple examples of two specific members that are doing it right now in our show, in our Land Academy member group. And they're just knocking it out of the park. So there's a 3-step process we talk about in our Cash Flow from Land program about how to choose a county. Number 1, get a census density map. They're usually the least amount of people per square mile, the more green it is usually. So big cities, real red, and a big rural area, big massive expansive rural area where a quarter person per mile live. It's green. So that you want to start with there in general. You want the green. Number 2, check to see how many back tax properties are in that county just as a gauge. If there's none, and you can go to etaxsalelists.com. etaxlists.com or etaxsalists, one of those. And just click on, it's all free. Just
etaxsales.com.
Etaxsales. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You got it.
And check to see if there's, it's very current. It's like almost to the day, it seems like. So if you're in California, just click on the county. If there's 3 properties that have back taxes on it or going to auction or something, that may not be the best choice. If there's Cook County, Illinois, I just checked, there's like 38,000 or 350,000 properties. That might not be the best choice. There's something really going wrong there. Those Rust Belt counties have a lot of back tax property. So my point is, try to find something in the middle. I get a lot of questions like, well, what's the number, man?
I know, and that's funny. Yeah, well,
I don't have a number. You just kind of got to develop the skill. You know what, Jill? Let's talk about saddle time. Can you this takes, and maybe Eddie Van Halen.
You know what's funny about that? This comes up often. People think that you're going to be a pro overnight. No, and even you're not going to be the best surgeon overnight just because you studied under the best surgeon. You're going to have to learn and physically do it and build up your skills and whatever you're working on, and I see that. I see people pushing themselves and they're frustrated, when they make mistakes. I'm like, no, that's part of this. So you do need some saddle time. You do need to develop these skills. And you're right, Jack.
Saddle time, like riding a horse, learn how to ride a horse in a saddle. In motorcycles, we always talk about that too. When you get a new motorcycle, I don't care how good you are, you have to put the saddle time in because it's just different from the last one you had or whatever you raced or whatever. So, Jill came up with a perfect, I think now's the time. I've used this Eddie Van Halen thing 25 times since you brought it up probably a month ago. So share it with us, please.
My example was people getting frustrated. It's like, imagine you're taking guitar lessons from Eddie Van Halen. Just because, Eddie Van Halen is sitting right there showing you're not going to be Eddie Van Halen tomorrow. And you might never be Eddie Van Halen, by the way. Let's be honest. However, you can still do this.
You can practice.
Yeah, you can practice. Yeah. My example was the reason I brought that up the other day was people. How do I say this? And it's not Eddie Van Halen's fault. You know what I mean? You've got to put in the time. I guess that's the real thing.
Yeah, you got to. You take the direction from somebody like that. I mean, she just picked Eddie Van Halen, but you take direction from people like us, and you put the saddle time in. Practice. I can't. If there was a number, like if I gave you a number, let's say, that has to be more than 400 and less than 700. No, more than 400, less than 2,200. Let's say, and that's a realistic range. Then what if it was 2,300 and he missed out on a great deal? Just because, maybe you were feeling it in your gut, but you're like, no, this guy over here, he said 2,200. That's what I don't want you to do. There's not a full-blown A to B to C linear roadmap to this stuff. You just have to develop kind of a knack for it.
Mm-hmm. I watched it in Success Plant, our community. I'm actually kind of looking in it right now as we're chatting. I go in there and I look, our members know this. I go in successplant.com and I look for questions, obviously, to answer on the show. And a lot of it, is what we're going to talk about on the show, because that's why we're here. Hello, we're here to help everybody. So I watch people in Success Plant getting frustrated way too quickly. I'm like, oh my gosh, can you imagine, Jack, if you and I, in how early we both said, yeah, we're out, or I'm not in, like the first time that, I did an eBay auction. That was back in the day. That was one of our things. What was the first auction? The first time one person didn't pay. And I said, oh, well, I guess this doesn't work. We're out, whatever. I mean, come on. We'd never be here. I mean, and you can't just give up like that. You have to hang in there, like Jack says. And it's not just what we're doing, but, figuring out, choosing the counties, get creative. And, Jack has said this before, some of our very, very, very most successful, members, students, participants, whatever you want to call them, have gone out and creatively picked their own counties and come up with stuff that we would have never thought of.
Bring those two people
and they're
up in
killing
a minute
it. And I'm, and that's it. You just got to do it. So thank you, Jack.
Yeah. So, and then that's well said. So then number 3 point, in the 3-step process is now you've got a pretty green county with a census map. Number 1. Number 2, you have, it's got a tax sale list back tax. By no means are we going to just mail back tax property. People say do that all the time, and it's a really bad idea. That's number 2. So pass that test. Now, number 3, super important. Go out onto the internet. MLS. I always use Landwatch. It's the first place I go. Landwatch.com. Jill and I have no affiliation. And check to see if there's properties priced, but they're priced. How are they priced there? Are there a lot of them? Go to the county and see and say, how many 5-acre properties are priced there, and what are they priced for? If they're priced for $2,500, $5,000, $25,000, some number, now you're talking. If there is nothing posted at all, I personally do not send any offers to the county. I do have, we have members who use that as a gauge. Mm-hmm. We have one member who says, if the county doesn't have a good website, then that's where I want to work because no one else is there.
Right.
And so that's what I mean by creative. Creatively is the first word in this the title of this show.
Mm-hmm.
So if it passes all your tests on Landwatch and Land and Farm and everywhere else on the internet, start down the path of mailing offers in that county and collecting information. You're going to find that in Landwatch. You're going to see, oh my gosh, there's nobody doing 10-acre properties, but there's lots of 5 acres. I'm going to go for 10 or whatever, and let your juices flow.
That's a good thing. See, that's getting creative.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's the crux of creatively choosing a county. Now, what about these 2 members? What are their profiles? The first member, we're going to call him T. I do a consulting call on Wednesday for people who choose to participate in it. It's kind of called a deal review, where I say they bring me deals, that not for me they just get my opinion. Yeah, I would do this. No, I would never do this. And we get to talking, obviously, and this guy T really got creative with the counties that he chose to send mailers to, and his absolutely hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars he's made in the last 4 or 5 months, and it's all because he got creative. He priced it properly. He didn't just go out and say it's X amount per acre, and that's the topic for a different show. And he's killing it. Where is he doing it? He chose all west of the Mississippi in some states that we almost never talk about. So I hope that intrigues you if you're considering this, or if you're already doing it and looking for new places. Another group, 2 guys, lifelong friends, childhood friends. They're grown now, probably my age. One's a contractor and one is a house flipper. Got involved with us on the very East Coast. We're going to call it North Carolina. It's not. And I'm just going to call them North Carolina guys. And they already came to us with a already clear idea what they wanted to do and who they wanted to mail and why. And they did. And through that process, they chose counties right around them that they're real familiar with, mailed those counties and for a way higher price per acre than I according to a way higher price per acre than I would have considered, and they're killing it. They're doing absolutely fantastic. They're not lowballing it too much, and they're not coming in too high. They're doubling their money on these properties. So you got to get creative. Mm-hmm. It's as simple as
Love
that.
it. Exactly.
Hey, if you have a question or you want to be on the show, call 800-725-8816. Jill, inspire us.
If you're making this difficult, you might not really be into it.
Oh, wow. Did you actually just say like a word like no or not or something negative?
Did. I mean, let's think about this. Are you really all in? I mean, whatever it is that you want, you better be all in and excited about it and pushing forward. And if you are having troubles and you're purposely making this difficult, whatever it is, pretend you want to learn to play the drums. I don't know. I'm just throwing that, I'm just using that example. Don't know why that's important, why that keeps coming up.
Do.
But it doesn't. I mean,
learn how to play
I
drums.
know. This is a whole, I just, because I looked across the room and there's drumsticks staring at me. So that's why this came up. So anyway, I'm going to use drums, your drums, Jack, as an example.
I decided that kicking the heck out of a drum set in the morning is better than like running a mile, 2 miles, 3 miles.
That's for you. That's your zen. That's your thing. So good. But so let's just pretend you, I don't know, for whatever reason, you decide you take up a hobby and somebody else is doing the playing drums, and you decide, you know what, I'm going to do that too. And you find yourself going, oh, but I got to practice. Oh, God, that costs too much. Oh, my wife's going to, you find yourself making it difficult and putting little obstacles in your way.
I see.
On purpose. You don't even realize you're doing it. Then you might not be into it and let it go, So I guess, the thing is, if you're making something difficult, sit back and recognize you're probably not really into it and move on. That's my inspiration, Jack.
I love it.
Thank you.
I think that I am incredibly guilty of what you just said. There's a lot of stuff that I'm not going to do this. And I start something and, I'm fortunate enough in my life now. I don't do it too often now. And if I do and I don't want to finish it, I'll call somebody and they'll finish it. Like, I don't know. Every time this type of topic comes up, what I think of first is home improvement stuff where I'm just like, I'm not going to do it. Because I don't like it.
Yeah, you're not into it.
Yeah.
So don't do it. So don't hurt yourself. Don't force yourself.
Yeah. I was up at 3:30 this morning.
I know.
Shooting videos and stuff with the sun coming up. And I'll tell you, I say this because I love Land Academy. Mm-hmm. I love it more and more every day. I mean, I love it like I originally loved buying and selling property. Mm-hmm. I love wholesaling houses right now and the large acreage stuff. I love it.
I'm glad.
Do you love it? I mean, seriously.
Oh, I do. Yeah, I do. What I learned when I learned this was when I was a kid, and I thought when you started a book, you had to finish it. And I would struggle and come up with reasons not to finish the book. Seriously.
This is a good example.
Right? That was me personally. It was just fun. Just like even for fun, like I'd pick up a book thinking, oh, I'm really going to like it. It's a cute little book. It's, on for vacation, whatever. And I just can't get into the book. And I would force myself to finish the book because I thought I had to. No, you don't really have to. It just didn't, that wasn't your book. Put it down, get a new book, donate it, give it away. I didn't know you could do that. It was so funny.
How many times I tried to read War and Peace, Tolstoy?
Why? Really?
Because exactly what you're saying. It's a good inspiration.
I wouldn't even pick up a book like that.
I know. I mean, because I thought I was supposed to. And
I wouldn't pick up the cliff notes of that.
It's different.
Unless I had to.
Different in the Midwest. People expect you to go through pain all the time.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe that's where it comes from for you.
I love it. I love your point, though.
Thank you.
If you're making excuses, it might not be for you.
Thank you.
But don't completely give up.
Right.
Maybe houses are flipping houses.
Yeah.
Maybe there's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, join us in another episode where Jack and Jill discuss how to use information, that's me,
and inspiration, that's me,
to get just about anything you want.
We use it every day to buy property for half of what it's worth and sell it immediately.
You are not alone in your real estate ambition. I wanted to talk more about the t-shirt thing.
I'm like, what? And then you're holding up a camera. Now I'm a little worried.
Oh, no.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm testing, truth be said, I'm testing new cameras really some cool stuff, actually, that no one will see the light of.
Not that one.
Light of this, yeah.
Not this stuff right here. Thank you. Love it. Thank you.
Great inspiration, Jill.
Thank you.
I feel let off the hook in somewhat, and I bet you let some people off the hook today.
I did let some people off
I don't mean
today.
quit. I don't mean say, you know what, she just said I don't have to do it. That's not it.
No.
But if it's not clicking, man.
No, but
don't
that's
bang
a
your head against the
whole
wall.
nother good side. I think that's part of being a good boss and a good manager too. Sometimes you have to find what people are good at, and because if that's another thing, if someone's good at it and they're into it and they take it and run, let them have that project sometimes, you know.
Yep.
Versus the others that are like, oh, this is, there's stuff that you got to do sometimes. That happens.
Yeah.
But if you have a choice and one employee or team member's really good at one thing and the other one hates it, I mean, let them do that. That's okay.
Yep.
You don't have to I had that. It's funny. This is a good example. This is funny. This is the after show. I had a job one time where I was a fill-in manager, and the first thing the person told me to do was to go fire someone. I'm not.
Oh my gosh,
kidding.
You're a fill-in?
I was a fill-in, seriously. And she was
That's
making me go
nasty.
fire somebody. I'm like, I don't want to fire them. And she was like trying to teach me, which really what the thing was, she didn't want to do it.
Yeah, clearly.
So she was passing the buck on me. Like, oh, so I did it. I had to. It was one of those things I couldn't pass the buck again.
Yeah.
I had to do it, but she didn't like it. But then you know what? However, I have met people that love to fire people.
Yeah. I have to be honest. I'm not. I really. That's something I do not like. But there's been few times where it's like, yeah, I'm not. This doesn't feel that bad.
I hear ya.
Information and inspiration to buy undervalued property.
We are Jack and Jill, and
this was the Cash Flow from Land Show. We are the experts at acquiring property
Of all kinds, not just land.
for half price, just so we can flip it for way more.
And really fast. Thanks for listening.
Let's go buy some property. If you want to get involved or you need more information about our profitable, niche real estate operation, call 480-467-0359. You just might get Jill at the other end of the line.
Landacademy.com. You are not alone in your real estate ambition.